I didn't realize what I was standing on until everything started shaking. A few years ago, Rachel had a plan for her life. Not a vague plan. A detailed one. Graduate by 24. Get married by 26. Buy a house by 30. She prayed over that plan. She journaled about it. She believed God was blessing it. And for a while, everything seemed to be working. Until it wasn't. Her engagement ended 6 months before the wedding. The company she'd worked for since college downsized, and she lost her job. Then, just when she thought she had hit rock bottom, her mother was diagnosed with cancer. 3 phone calls. 3 months. And the entire future she'd built in her mind disappeared. I met Rachel during that season. She wasn't angry at God. She was terrified. Not because she had lost things, because she had lost certainty. One night, she admitted something she'd never said out loud. I don't know how to trust God when everything I trusted is gone. That sentence stayed with me. Because if I'm honest, I've prayed a version of that prayer too. Not because I stopped believing in God, but because I had quietly started believing more in my plans than in His presence. Rachel spent months trying to rebuild. New applications, new routines, new goals. But the harder she tried to regain control, the more exhausted she became. Then one morning, during a devotional she almost skipped, she read a verse she'd heard her entire life. Trust in the Lord always, for the Lord God is the eternal rock. She stopped reading, because for the first time, she noticed the word she had always overlooked. Rock. Not a suggestion. Not a feeling. Not a temporary solution. A rock. Something that doesn't move when everything else does. And she realized something painful but freeing. She had built her peace on things that could disappear. A relationship. A career. A timeline. None of those things were bad. They just weren't strong enough to hold the weight of her hope. So she stopped asking God to make her life feel stable, and started asking Him to become her stability. The circumstances didn't change overnight, but she did. Because when your foundation is eternal, you don't have to panic every time life shakes. And maybe that's what trust really is. Not believing that life will never fall apart, but believing that God never will. Trust in the Lord always, for the Lord God is the eternal rock. Isaiah 26, verses 4. Subscribe, like, and share.